Greetings, viewers, and welcome to another time-lapse video by yours truly, Aziz Draws. I figured that for this month of November, I would participate in the Huevember art challenge. Now, I thought to myself, it'd be kind of cool if I had a process video for every day I did Huevember. And it would look really cool visually because you would be able to see the gradient of colors I used throughout the month. Whether or not I'll be punctual and actually keep up with this for the entire month is something we're going to see in the near future, but I will try my best to do so. Kicking off this month, I decided to go with Iron Fist and Luke Cage. As a duo, they're known as the Heroes for Hire, and I've noticed that they have a lot of yellow on them, so I thought it would be a good idea to use these two characters for the first color of Huevember, which is yellow. I think it's pure yellow too, like 255 red, 255 green, and then 0 blue, something like that. Like it's the purest yellow you can find on the RGB scaling for digital color. But anyway, yeah, this was it was a pretty cool drawing, and it was my first drawing after coming back from traditional art, which I did last month, which was kind of like a weird Inktober-based Arttober spin-off theme that I did last month. So I decided to take the opportunity to just go traditional because for the most part, I've been doing digital art this entire year. The only other time I did traditional was in the beginning of the year, around January. So I thought this would be a nice return, and maybe I could get some good practice, maybe some better line work, with traditional, because sometimes with digital you can kind of just go willy-nilly with it. You can just do whatever you want because you can fix it. Paper, it's different. Like it forces you to be more serious about your line work and more punctual, and like you have to really think about what you're doing because odds are you're not going to be able to fix it, especially if you're messing around with inks and markers and stuff. So coming back to digital was nice after that exercise, and I don't know, maybe I've gotten better with the line work afterwards. Who knows? Maybe I'll just retract to where I was originally. But I will say this was really fun to come back to. It's nice to know that I can render out, massive areas of color without having to worry about wasting $80 worth of markers on it. I can kind of just do whatever I want, come back, fix it, redo it. With paper, you couldn't really do that stuff. So this was like a nice return to try and do that. You can see here, I'm almost done with Luke Cage. I decided to give him his traditional costume because I've drawn Luke Cage in the modern take where he's just wearing a yellow t-shirt. He's just really just wearing street clothes. But I figured it'd be kind of interesting to try and go back to what he used to wear in the good old days, the 70s. I don't know how it wasn't in the 70s. I don't know how that was. But yeah, there's Luke Cage, and then afterwards it will be Iron Fist. So now I'm working on Iron Fist. In order for it to be a little easier to separate that subject from Luke Cage, I decided to add some effects onto the background and foreground of the drawing. It was just to help separate the subjects with a little bit more contrast in color, because they share relatively the same exact color palette. There's a few differences here and there for Iron Fist, but more or less they share the same color. So to separate them and organize them in a way where you can still tell the shapes and figures used for the composition are easy is what I was aiming for. We have kind of Iron Fist kind of mirroring what Luke Cage is doing. Luke Cage is kind of standing tall, looking off to the our right side of the drawing, and then you have Iron Fist lowering himself, kind of putting himself in this kind of a martial arts stance, and he's looking to the opposite direction. It was just these kind of like senses of contrast and balance that I was trying to go for with the composition. And I also wanted to be looser with Iron Fist's movement kind of wanted to make him look like he's almost more flowy. Like Iron Fist, he's he's a master of martial arts, so he knows how to be fluid with his body, how to control it to the best of his ability. Whereas Luke Cage, he's very like stable. He's like a strong person, so he's gonna have a more like rigid stance, if you will. Whereas Iron Fist, he'll be more flowy with it, or at least I'm assuming that's probably my post intuitive reasoning for why I did this. But is these things where like when you're drawing something, you don't necessarily think too much about why you're doing it, but you tend to notice it feels right. So what I'm telling you right now is my guess as to why I did these things. As I progress in my art, I try to think about why stuff works, and if it doesn't work, how can I avoid it? How can I make it better? Things like that. It's not a verbal conversation. It's more of just like an action thing. It's something that I do through my actions. I don't really sit there and talk to myself about it. But that's kind of what goes through my mind when I look back on these drawings, and sometimes when I work on them as well. You can see I use the same darker colors for the green part of Iron Fist's suit to match up with Luke Cage, just for that uniformity. I didn't want to add too many colors because I didn't want to take away from the yellow that was being used. There's a lot of yellow, and I wanted the palette to be relatively simple so that the yellow doesn't get anything taken away from it. Beyond that, I mean, it was pretty fun doing this drawing. There's not too many times that I mess with more than one subject for a drawing, but I think this was a nice little exercise using two characters and seeing how they interact with each other. But that is the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. There will be more videos to come. Each day I try to draw something, and hopefully, just hopefully, I keep up with it so we have 30 days of video and good content.